You're alive.
We are. Good evening. Welcome to the Finance Committee of January 6, 2025. It is 5:15. Committee members in attendance, we have Councilor Beck, Councilor Dean, Councilor Fournier, Councilor Tremble. I'm Councilor Hollis, standing in for Councilor Fish, who is unable to be here. Around the table, we have Council Chair Pelletier, we have Councilor Mallor, we have Finance Director Little. Who have I left out? Anybody? And we have other people that will join us here and there throughout the meeting. So our first order on the agenda is the pest control.
Yes, our first bid is for the Water Quality Department. It is for our rat baiting program and tick control, as well as ants and spiders. We do go to bid for this on a regular basis. It's a 3-year contract. We received 6 bids, which was a good response. They ranged from $53,970 to $152,519. That is a 3-year total bid for the contract. The low bidder of the 53.9, staff determined that looking into their bid, it did not meet the pricing structure that we requested. They were quoting hourly rates versus a lump sum, which is what we requested, so they were deemed non-responsive. So the request is to go to the next lowest bidder, which is Proactive Pest Management. Again, that would be a 3-year contract for $82,245 or $27,415 a year. That is included in the regular operating budget for water quality. And we're very happy with their services. They have been, we've been using them in some capacity, especially with rat baiting since 2020. We're very happy. So we're looking for authorization to move forward with a contract with Proactive Pest Management.
Okay, before we ask for questions or discussion, we have been joined also by Councilor Leonard, who is coming in via Zoom. Questions, discussion?
Staff recommendation.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the bid for the pest control for Proactive Pest Management. Is there any further discussion? Objections?
Thank you.
Nina?
Our next bid tonight is for the fire department. This is for self-contained breathing apparatus, the scuba fill station at their central fire station. The 2025 approved capital budget included the replacement of that system. It's 14 years old. It's obsolete, difficult to get parts for. So we put out a proposal which contained 2 different options. One is to replace the system. The other is to retrofit the current system. We received 4 bids. And Industrial Protection Services LLC submitted the lowest bid for all of the proposals, and also included an option to add a 3-bottle station to the system. And so staff discussed it, and staff's opinion, it would be better to replace and put in a brand new system as opposed to retrofitting one that we already know is old. And it did come in at $54,620 to put in 3 bottles, which would be increased efficiency and safety for the crew. It was well under the $100,000 that was budgeted for this particular request. So they reached back out to Industrial Protection Services and received a quote to also add a decontamination wash, which would further enhance safety for the crew. That quote came in at $39,185. So the 2 items together are still under the $100,000 at $93,805. So the recommendation tonight is to move forward with a contract with Industrial Protection Services to install a new 3-bottle scuba fill station and the installation of a decontamination unit for $93,805.
Questions? Councilor?
I'm just curious, the decontamination wash was only bid by one company because.
It wasn't initially bid by any of the companies.
Agreed. So the point being, did you call the other companies and ask about it?
No, it was not knowing what it would cost to actually replace the station. It wasn't assumed that one could even be put in.
But I
Were the-
believe the code, doesn't the city require a bid process or at least a phone call if the amount is over $5,000?
The limit is 25,000 and
Well,
yes,
this is over
this is
25.
over 25. I agree. We did not go through that process because we did have the low bidder of industrial
With the low
protection.
bidder, it's irrelevant because it was for a different project.
It was gonna be combined
But
with so that the same
did
system.
were all the bidders aware of that?
No.
No, so we eliminated bidders, is what you're saying.
We
I mean, I
eliminated-
don't have any problem with you giving it to the people you did, but I don't think you're being fair to the public by not bidding it with all of the people that originally bid.
We can always put it back out to bid if the committee.
No, I don't think you
decides.
need to put it back out to bid, but I think you have an obligation to call the other people and ask them about it, because it looks like we're changing horses in midstream.
We do, and we can do that. It's one of those, there are certain circumstances where we could get in a bid. It may be under what we thought of, and there was things that, oh, we could add this. We negotiate with the low bidder, which is allowed under a policy, to determine other things.
But this
This was one-
is not what you originally bid for. So this is a completely new bid, actually.
It
This is
yes,
the
it is a
addition of
new option,
Over
yes.
half the price is not what I'd consider an addition. I think that's a whole new item. So the question being, you exceeded the limit, so therefore I would expect you to make the calls and find out if the others were interested. I'm not saying you should give it to them, but I
Mhm.
just think to make me happy and to make everyone happy, that's the rules and that's what we should be doing.
We can certainly do that. And we can table this until the next meeting and the staff can reach out and get quotes from all of the companies for that particular unit.
The next meeting of,
It'd be the first meeting in February.
well, no, because probably there's a need to have it as soon as possible, I would assume.
Service right now, yes.
So I don't think that's necessary, but I
Well,
think you,
we could reach out to them, get quotes, and then come back and update you on what we found, but we could move forward if,
right,
if the
I think if,
count-
what I'd like to see you do is go out and get, just for informational purposes, get the information. If it's irrelevant to what you're doing and this is still a list, I think we should go forward with it because I don't want them to be without.
okay,
But I just think we need to follow the rules.
and I understand that, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, comments, Council Tremble?
I would move we approve what was the first part of the bid, or the
Industrial.
tanks.
Yeah,
And
the
then
bottle fill station.
as recommended, and then conditionally approve the wash station, decontamination station contingent on further research by staff, but if it proves it, that's still the best price.
Right.
We'll go with it. So we'll approve both, but the second part is contingent on a little more research. Does that sound reasonable, Dave?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I would second that. Yeah, they're moved and seconded to go with industrial protection for the SCBA apparatus, and the decontamination wash would be conditional.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Any objections? Seeing none?
Thank you.
Now you have your resolve.
So our last item tonight is a resolve for the airport. This is to accept additional funding from the National Guard Bureau for the runway rehabilitation project. We'd already accepted a portion of the funds from the Guard back on a previous resolve 23-313. This was also intended to be a 2-year project, and the Guard would be funding and budgeting the money in 2 stages. The project was delayed from the initial conversation due to certain parameters, and so now we're back at the runway rehab is underway, it has been underway. The total cost of the estimated construction cost is $47 million. There was a cooperative agreement that had been drafted that outlined that the Guard's usage approximates 35% of the runway. They agreed to that would be their cost. So the adjustment tonight would be in this resolve is to accept an additional $6,600,000 $731,241 in funds to bring their total share to $16,566,241, which would be the 35% of the $47 million estimated cost of the construction. The resolve would also authorize the city to execute the cooperative agreement with the Guard. It was never fully executed before because of the delay in the project. So it'll outline these terms, and that would be an agreement. The Guard has already approved to it, but it just makes it more official for us to have a written agreement with them regarding these funds. This would go for first reading at the next council meeting, sorry.
Questions? Discussion? Okay.
You know, we move, staff recommendation approving.
Second.
And moved and seconded that the resolve will move to the next council meeting for first reading.
Yep.
No questions?
Thank you.
It shall be.
That is all I have. Unless anybody has any questions? It's underway. Your question, I assume, is about the audit. We're still working on it. Not as far ahead as I would have hoped to be on today, but further ahead than we were the last time we had the discussion. Still have some staffing issues. Some people that had come back are now out again. As well as but the auditors have finished up a number of areas. We're working through some of the new requirements. I am still on track for, or at least hoping for, issuing this month, as we talked about. It will depend on what happens over the next few days, with what we can get done here, and the staffing levels at the auditors, but so far they haven't had any issues. Of course, with the holidays, there were some vacations thrown in there that, put some of the testing, to the side, but I believe, except for some things that we need to pull from the old city hall, so we'll be making a trip down there this week. I believe most of the grant testing has been completed without any, that I am aware of today anyway, any requirements for any additional testing, which will help us move along.
I think it's absolutely wonderful that I hadn't said a word and you answered all my questions. Thank you.
That's pretty amazing. Council Black.
Are we also still on track to do RFPs this month for auditing services?
Yes, that is on my desk for the auditing services RFP. That will get posted sometime during this month.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, any further business?
That is it. Thank you.
We are adjourned.